Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast, and I am Kim Thompson-Pinder, and today for the podcast, we're going to do something a little bit different. Just recently, I did a new training on the Connect, Equip, and Encourage sales system, and this is what I've been using over the last 5 years to be able to build a business where I sell packages worth $5,000 or more on a regular basis. And I wanted to share this with you, or the basics of it with you during this time, because many of you are now in a situation as an entrepreneur where you can't sell in the normal way that you did. And so I want to do an abbreviated version of this training for you and give you some really good basics that you can use on this podcast today to continue to build your business even during these very trying times. And this system works whether times are good or times are bad, because it's not dependent upon the economic situation. It's dependent upon you and the actions that you are willing to take. So I invite you to join me on this journey as I do this training today for the podcast, and sit back, enjoy it. If you want to come to www.authortoauthority.com/podcast, you will see this episode. And I've also got slides, and if you want to watch it on YouTube, if you go there and go to this episode, you can click on the YouTube link and also be able to see the slides as well, because I am recording the slides as I speak. So why don't we get started? So this is the Author to Authority Connect, Equip, and Encourage sales system. And I'm not going to spend too much time today, because you can go back to the very first episode of Author to Authority, episode number 1 from 2019. And I share my story of the invisible girl who couldn't write. So if you want to hear that story, go back to that episode. But needless to say that being invisible did cause a lot of problems for me as an entrepreneur, and my ability to be seen and have people connect with me, because I did want to be invisible. But I did learn, and that's what I'm going to teach you today. So just before we get into the actual system, I want to tell you a little bit about what this is and what it isn't. So first of all, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? This is a system that requires time. I want you to think of it as a funnel, where, you start developing those relationships and you put people in on the top of the funnel, and then you guide them through this funnel. And how long it takes for them to come through the funnel, who knows? Some people I caught at the right time and they were ready. They started right away. Others took a few weeks, some took a few months. I've even had a couple take a year or so. So I can't tell you how long it takes to get the person through the funnel. That's why this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a sales system, so that you always have people that you're working with and people coming out of the bottom of the funnel who want your products and services. So doing this system, sorry you guys, I'm recording this at night and I've been up since about 5 o'clock this morning. So I am a little tired, but this is when I have to do it. So if you see on the video that my face is kind of going squirky, it's because I'm trying not to yawn. So there you go. You can watch me make funny faces throughout this training today. This is not a system that you can use and be desperate. Like I said, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. But if you start implementing it now, you will see results within a couple of months. So when you're doing this, you can't act desperate. Your body language cannot be desperate. You have to be able to do this calmly, coolly, and which comes to the next point, must be able to put the other person's needs above your own. And you must have the proper body language. This system works because when I talk to people, I have a really I don't care attitude. It's not that I don't care about them. That comes through really clearly. But the I don't care attitude comes through and is I don't care if you use my products and services. I'm here to create relationship. And if that relationship leads to business, great. If it doesn't, it does not hinder us from having a really great professional relationship. Here's the thing. Some people may never become your clients or customers, but if you develop a good, strong network and those good, strong relationships, those people will refer business to you. So that's why it's got to be about the relationships and not about money and not about the sales. So this is a 3-step system. And the first step is talking about making that connection. So this is when you first meet someone, how are you going to act? What do you say? What do you not say? What do you do? What do you not do? And your first impression is important. So even if you're working from home right now and you're connecting with people over social media or through Zoom or through any type of online video networking, make sure your appearance is good. Treat it like you were going to a live networking event. So wear the proper clothes. Look good. If you're a woman and you wear makeup, have your hair done, shower, brush your teeth. You need to make that first good impression. And if you come through as a professional on the video, when you're talking to people, even at online networking events, have a nice background for your video. So all these things are very important in terms of making that good first impression and being able to connect. And again, this is not about selling, it's about the connection that you make. So first, you want to determine if a person is a really good prospect. There's no use even trying to develop a sales relationship if they're not a good prospect for your products and services. So you always want to listen. Let the other person talk first. You'd be amazed at the impression that you make on someone if you do not have to do all the talking. People tell me on a regular basis that I am an amazing communicator. And the reality is I let them do 95% of the talking. I ask a few questions. When I do say something, I make it strong and impactful and personalized to them so that they get a tremendous amount of value out of it. So make it about listening. There's a few key concepts that I'm going to teach throughout this. Listening is one of them. It's one of the key concepts you need to know. Spend more time listening than you do speaking. Let them talk, get to know them, find out if they're really a good prospect for you. And second, the 4 ways to introduce yourself. You never want to say, "Hi, my name is, and I am a." That's blah, 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 and that's all people hear. You want to create interest. So you want to do one of these 4 ways to introduce yourself. And I have a program, a training course called Power Words, which will be available soon, which teaches these 4 ways in a whole lot more detail than I can do on this podcast. So if you're interested in the Power Words program, I don't have it up quite yet, but if you want advanced notification, email me, Kim, at info@rtipublishinghouse.com. That's info@rtipublishinghouse.com. And I will put you on the list to be notified when the course is ready, which will be soon. It's already been created. It's just got to be uploaded. So the 4 ways to introduce yourself, a unique title that piques interest. So when I introduce myself, I say, hi, I'm Kim Thompson-Pinder, the extraordinary word ninja. And if I'm in a very, very professional setting, I would also add, and Chief Visionary Officer of RTI Publishing. I want a title that makes people go, ooh, what's a word ninja, right? So it continues the conversation. Sometimes I just ask them a question. I don't even tell them what I do. I ask them a question that leads to more questions that allows me to clarify who they are, and I start providing a whole ton of value to them. And eventually we get around to it. By that point, though, I've already proven I'm an expert in my niche, and they're like, oh, I really got to talk to you. And then when they find out I'm a publisher, like, oh, really? Oh, I really got to talk to you. Tell people how you help them. So one of my introductions, which is a combination of 1 of 3, is, hi, my name's Kim Thompson-Pinder, and I'm the extraordinary word ninja. And I work with entrepreneurs, professionals, and coaches just like you to help them ghostwrite and publish their signature book that they use as a foundational marketing tool to build their business and position them as the authority in their niche. So I made it very clear what it is that I do, but I never really told them my title. I gave them my unique, extraordinary word ninja, but I didn't tell them I was a publisher. So if you have a common title, you don't need to use it. You can spruce things up. And number 4 is you can lead with a book. So if you're an author, you can use your book as a lead generation tool that actually the book sells you to them. And that one is a little bit too long to be able to do on the podcast, but it is a big part of the Power Words course. So if you are interested, please email me at info@rtipublishinghouse.com. Now, the second step in the system is you've made that connection. You've had a conversation with someone. And I hope during that conversation that you spent a lot of time listening, asking good questions, getting information back, and providing value. At no point have you asked for the sale. But if you are going to take it to the next level, you do have to do some sort of small call to action. So a great way to do this is to say to them, you know, I was listening to you and I was thinking about the things that you were telling me. And I had a few thoughts that I want to share with you. But you know what? We really don't have time right now on this short call or at this networking event or, you know, wherever it is that you're talking to them. You know, I'd really love an opportunity to really chat with you. You know, do you have a half an hour available, say maybe Wednesday or Thursday? So you pick the next 2 days. And you should know your schedule, or at least have your schedule open so that you can automatically give them times. So you want to book that next call with them. And when you've done that, that leads into step 2, which is equip. And this is where you're really going to shine as that go-to expert, as that person who cares about them, as that person who really wants to help them. And so when you do this next call with them, first, you want to ask questions to clarify what problems they are experiencing that you can help them with. And again, listen. You want to gather the information. And while you're doing that, you know, if you do it in the right way and with the right attitude, people are going to open up to you and they're going to tell you lots of things. And consider that an honor. It means you're doing your job right. And yes, sometimes people do tend to go on. And I think sometimes it's just because they don't have someone who will really listen to them. So be that person that will listen to them. Listen with an open heart. Let them talk. Let them speak. Second is you're going to provide an actionable solution that they can do themselves. Yes, you do want them to work with you, but you have to, that non-caring attitude where you don't care whether they work with you or not, whether they hand you money or not, you prove that by giving them something that they can do themselves. It also shows that you are a credible expert that can speak directly to their situation. And then third, you're going to invite them to a consultation call. Now, sometimes the second call that you just did with them is that consultation call. Sometimes it's not. This is where the system is flexible because it depends on the person. It depends on what you're sensing from them. Are they eager to move forward, or are you sensing a lot of hesitation? If you're sensing a lot of hesitation, you can do a third call with them. The point of this is to show them that you care, not try to manipulate them into something. So, with the second call, you can do a test close. And I don't have time on this podcast today to teach test closing, but Google it. There's a lot of really great information out there on test closing. And that's where you ask sort of a slightly committal question. So you use words like maybe, might. You're just trying to get a sense of where they are at and how they want to move forward. And if it's negative, then you haven't damaged the relationship because you haven't given them a really direct yes or no or tried to push them into something. You're just kind of testing the waters. And if they're really hesitant, then you back off and you do the third call. And again, you just talk to them some more, you explore them some more, you share value with them. If by the end of this third call, they're not ready to work with you and you've done another test close and they're not biting, then, it's maybe time to consider, not putting them on the shelf, but you're not going to continue to keep giving them free advice and information. That the point of this is not to take advantage of you. So after the third call, if they're just not ready, you just say, you know what, that's cool. Let's connect on social media. I do a lot of teaching and training there. And, they can join one of your groups or follow you and ask you questions on social media where you can then create videos and answer it for everybody. But you're not going to give away any more personalized information for free, which then leads to the encouraging part. And again, this is where, this is sometimes the third step that takes time because you may have a few phone calls with them over time. But when you're on these phone calls, and again, you've got to gauge it towards the person. Some people, you could talk to them at a networking event and they're ready. Some people you might have to do two phone calls. Some people you might have to do 3 phone calls. Some people, you might do those 3 phone calls and then connect back again with them in a few months. So again, it's about adjusting it to the person and keeping that relationship open. So when you are in the encouragement stage and you have opportunities to speak to them, always explore their problem on a deeper level. And this could be on social media, it could be, in an email, whatever. But again, you're not giving a lot of time to it. And you always want to be open to showing that you understand where they're at by asking them questions and providing small solutions. And then again, you're always going to try and close the sale, or you're going to continue the relationship. And sometimes it just never turns out that they buy from you. But like I said, there's many people who have never bought from me, but because I provided them so much value and shown them so much care, they have referred a lot of business to me. So I'm going to come out of stop the screen share here. So that's the basics of this system. And I want to encourage you today that you can do this. And it takes practice. You are going to have to practice this to get comfortable with it, to get your body language, to know what to say and how to say it, how to show that you care, not let people take advantage of you, and close the sale. Sometimes that's the hardest. We're afraid to ask to close the sale. But here's the thing. You always miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So try closing the sale, even if it's uncomfortable. At least try. As the more you do it, the better you get at it, the better you get at gauging people's body languages, their vocal tones, and you'll gauge when the right time is to close. But if you practice these things, practice developing those relationships, practice building that funnel of people, practice building your network and your communication skills. Make yourself friendly, but not friendly to like best friends, okay? Like we're talking professionally friendly, where you become that valued expert, where they want to follow you on social media, where they want to keep connecting with you, because you just never know when they are ready. And one day you'll get an email or a social media message from them saying, Kim, we talked 6 months ago and I know I wasn't ready then, but you know what? I've been thinking about it and I've been following you and I'm ready to write my book. Can we get started? You just never know what's going to happen. So anyway, that's just a short training for today on the podcast. And if you are interested in getting a copy of the Power Words course, which teaches the 4 introductions in greater detail, because you really have to nail that introduction. That is the biggest part, is getting that attention and starting that conversation and being able to do that gentle call to action to take it to the next step to get them on the phone. Once you've gotten them on the phone that first time, you're about 50% of the way there. So that's why the Power Words course, I've designed it that way, because that is the biggest skill that you need to learn. And if you want a copy of it when it comes out, email me, Kim Thompson-Pinder, at info@rtipublishinghouse.com. Well, thank you so much for listening today. And I will actually be recording another video tomorrow for the next podcast, because there's another skill that I want to teach and train you to help you during these trying times. So goodbye for now, and we'll see you on the very next episode.